My name is Eric Mason. This is my graphic organizer for the CI 533 philosophy statement activity. This paper provided the opportunity to reflect on what I've been doing in the classroom and how I can reflect further as an educator. One of the first concerns I had in the reflection process dealt with the amount of lecturing I've done in the past. This class has encouraged me to seek out more hands-on activities and to teach my students to chunk information better in order to help them to handle larger quantities of information more effectively. Another thought I came to during this paper was to teach my students more critical thinking skills and assign activities that give them the opportunity to think critically about history. Probably the most positive reflection I had was knowing my students enjoy coming to class, even if they don't always love history. I want to continue creating a welcoming environment where all students know they have the chance to succeed if they are willing to put in the work. When dealing with memory, I like to start units off with having students brainstorm what they already know about a topic. This ties in well with the ideas of ACT-R, whereby students are able to then create links with what they are currently learning to what they already know. As I have worked through the course, chunking is an idea I want to improve on, as mentioned before. In the past, I've given lots of information, but not always done a great job of allowing students to process that and put it into memory in smaller chunks. In the future, I plan to stop my teaching every 10 minutes of lecture time to allow students to process and chunk the information we have just gone over, thereby allowing them to get more out of the lectures themselves. Metacognition is something that most students already do, even without knowing it. Something as simple as asking what a test would be like is an example of metacognition that many students do. I want to work with my students to help them better understand strengths and weaknesses they have and help them understand how to take the knowledge that they do have and use it as an advantage for them. One way I will help this is by creating activities where students have a variety of choices for the activity type. This way they can select a task that best fits how they learn. When dealing with motivation, students are motivated either intrinsically or extrinsically. Those students who are motivated intrinsically typically motivate themselves to accomplish tasks, while extrinsic motivation refers to those who are motivated more so by what they get for doing something. Both high-achieving and low-achieving students can fall into both of these categories. Teaching low-achieving students to be confident in themselves can help lead to more intrinsic motivation, for example. And I want to really get away from offering rewards because the expectation should be that students are learning and are working to the best of their ability in the classroom. How a student feels about his or herself can have a significant impact on how they are likely to perform in a course as well. It's also important to understand that students will have difficult or differing levels of self-efficacy from one class to another based on their familiarity and comfort level in that specific course. So some students are going to feel very confident coming into my social studies class, and they may not be so comfortable heading into Algebra 2. To help meet this challenge, I want to work with students to set goals in my class. By setting goals, it will give them something to work towards, and when they accomplish these goals, they will gain further confidence. And starting small and kind of working to bigger picture, bigger goals will help students accomplish or have a sense of accomplishment and feel good and confident about what they can do. The main point of constructivism I want to touch on here is the idea that students are ultimately responsible for their own learning. In my classroom, I feel this is something I already do, but I want to continue to make this as clear to my students as possible so that they understand that what they get out of class is going to be what they put into the class. By clearly stating this fact and putting the responsibility on them, the students will then have the opportunity to grow as they put more and more of their learning on their own shoulders. And I think this is really key. Kids, if they're not expected to achieve, if they're not expected to do the work for themselves, they're looking for opportunities to avoid this, as we've discussed in the text. When dealing with assessment, three main types of knowledge that can be assessed are declarative, procedural, and conditional. To test currently for declarative knowledge, I typically give multiple choice and matching questions on unit exams. Procedural knowledge is shown by students through essay questions on primary document activities, where they are asked to explain what the documents themselves mean and why these documents are important, and what about the document is important specifically. Conditional knowledge is shown at the end of the term, is the best example for my course. In it, I offer an essay question where students are asked to take historical events that have happened, any historical event that's happened, explain the significance of it in the moment, and then they have to take that historical event and explain how it still impacts the U.S., how it still impacts the world, what that impact is still today. So they're taking and showing that they can understand and use that knowledge they have of that topic. Overall, this course has had a significant impact on me as an educator, and I look forward to opportunities in the near future to take what I've learned and put it into work in the classroom this fall. It's really challenged me to grow, to continue to improve as an educator, and I look forward to the opportunities to take what I've learned and put them to use.